I'd like to call the meeting to order about 7:02, May 22nd, 2012, Amelia Village Council. If you could stand for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, Kevin, if you could take roll call, please.
Mr. Dickerson is absent. Ms. Gerber.
Here.
Mr. Pollock.
Here.
Mr. Campbell.
Here.
Mr. Thacker.
Here.
Ms. Elliott.
Here.
5 present, 1 absent. We have a quorum.
All right. First order of business tonight will be our zoning report from Ms. Danny Spiegel.
Thank you for taking me. Hopefully this will be my last time that I have 2 meetings in one night. So when I schedule my other one 3 months out, it makes it a little difficult, but I do appreciate it. I hopefully you have my report in writing, but I've just, the 3 weeks I've been here, I've issued about 10 permits, checked on zoning violations that had been reported to me, and I did Julie purchased me a new camera, so I could go out and take pictures of the violations, and I just did that yesterday, and it works really, really well, so I'm very happy with that. We had noticed that some things on the website weren't quite kosher with what we had in our zoning code, so we've made some updates on the website, and we'll be planning on working with the zoning planning committee to make some changes and things like that soon. And I did get my Hanson training from the county last Friday, so I'm working with that a little more intense than the program I was used to, but it's fine. I actually really like it. It's just a lot of little steps you have to go through. Other than that, does anybody have any questions for me?
Do they have anything?
Just out of curiosity, what was your 6 noted violations?
Most of those were all tall grass. I did have one junk and debris, but most of them's all been tall grass.
I was just curious.
Yeah, and then I have about 28 more from yesterday. So here's a I'm not exaggerating. Yeah.
But most of it's grass, though,
It's
right?
most of it is grass. There is, I have a few boats, campers that.
Oh, yeah, we have several of
So
those in the wrong places.
Other tan that, that's.
Okay.
Can you just cover the boat and RV just a little bit for anybody that may be watching?
As I read it now, it has to be put on a permanent surface, not in the grass or side yard or something like that. So it does need to be on either, concrete or something like that. So, that's what they need to know.
Has to be on the side and in the back.
Inside or. Yeah.
Okay.
I did have a report, the tattoo parlor will be painting over their signage also, so that will be taken care of.
What's
I
that?
don't have it, the tattoo parlor,
Oh,
I didn't get it, was not reported to me, but, and I don't know as of a date, but they said they would, the man who's running the tattoo parlor said he came in and spoke, I guess, with Julie, and he said it would be painted. Did he give you a date? Okay. So hopefully within the next month, we won't have to look at their yellow building. Okay?
All right.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Next order of business, approval of the previous meeting minutes for May 8, 2012. This time I entertain a motion.
I make a motion.
A motion has been made and a second. Is there any questions? Kevin, roll call vote, please.
Ms. Gerber.
Yay.
Mr. Pollock.
Yay.
Mr. Campbell.
Yeah.
Mr. Thacker.
Yay.
Ms. Elliott.
Yay.
Passes 5-0, 1 absence.
Next order of business is the approval of the bills. May 9th to May 18th. And if I have no questions on the bills, entertain a motion.
So moved.
Have a first
Second.
and a second. Any other questions on the bills? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Ms. Gerber?
Yay.
Mr. Pollock?
Yay.
Mr. Campbell?
Yay.
Mr. Thacker?
Yay.
Ms. Elliott?
Yay.
Passes 5-0, one absent.
All right, I'm going to add a small mayor's report here. I have 3 things I need to bring up to council. The first one is we did a motion to begin the police pay raises on the 1st of June. And I'd like to see if we could get that amended to be the very first pay period. So it'd be the 4th, would it not? It'd be the 4th of June, so that way it fits into the pay periods, right? So I need a motion.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
I have a first and I have a second. Any other discussion?
It's still 4%.
Yes. Hearing none, roll call vote.
Ms. Gerber?
Yay.
Mr. Pollock?
Yay.
Mr. Campbell?
Yay.
Mr. Thacker?
Yay.
Ms. Elliott?
Yay.
Passes 5-0, one absence.
All right, thank you. The second order is I want to discuss the committee reports. I'd like to, according to our rules of council, they all come at the last meeting of the month. I would like to bump it up and half at one meeting and half at the second meeting of the month. And I'll draw that up if that's all right with council to look at. And then that way we're not getting all the committee reports all at once. So I'll go ahead and do that, and I'll look into that and draw it up and let you guys look at it. And the last thing I have on mine, Kevin will be out for a while, starting towards the latter part of June and July. So I'm looking for a motion to interview and possibly hire a temporary physical officer while he's out.
Make the motion.
Second. Have anybody in mind?
We have a couple people that have put in previous, when Kevin had put in before, that we might look at those people. Somebody to fill in temporarily. If somebody'd like to be on a committee, I have no problem with that either. Or if you like, I can go ahead and do the interviews.
So you're more than welcome to interview.
All right, thank you. Everybody feel that way? All right, so we had a motion on that. And a second? Okay, roll call vote, please.
Ms. Gerber?
Yay.
Mr. Pollock?
Yay.
Mr. Campbell?
Yay.
Mr. Thacker?
Yay.
Ms. Elliott?
Yay.
Passes 5-0.
All right, thanks, everyone. Police chief report.
Well, go report. Council, Mayor. Things are still pretty busy. We do have a couple notable events that happened just recently at the Amelia Elementary School. A father went to pick up his child, and one of the other parents noticed that he was on drugs. And for a car in front or the back to notice that a guy is that's driving a car that's on drugs, he must have been pretty noticeable. I managed to make it there before he picked up his child. I think his child had to be like in maybe first, second grade, maybe. And I pulled over the car first, and before he had a chance to do that, and found that he was driving under suspension, that he was on drugs, 2 types of, like I think it was maybe Vicodin and Xanax at the same time, and also had drugs on him. So that's the real father. The stepfather came in the other side of the building wanting to pick up the boy, and he was found to have been high too. So he was arrested for disorderly conduct. So we ended up, grandmother came and got a responsible adult for the child. The school was very helpful in that, and they understand and they can recognize things like that in a heartbeat. So if anyone thinks that they're going to pick up their child when they're on drugs in this town, they're mistaken. That's not going to happen. The other one was on Huntsman's Trace. A person, which was her own son, stole her car, the mom's car, and she's been having a problem with him. This son is 31 years old. So stole her car. We went and took the report, found the car. The officer contacted the guy and told him to have back here by midnight, which 8 minutes till midnight he showed up with the car, so it was unauthorized use at that point. Well, a little after midnight, he sold it again. So they found him in Cincinnati, somewhere in the back of an apartment complex, all high on drugs and things like that. That's Cincinnati County Force when we're down there interviewing him at the Justice Center. So we, instead of unauthorized use, we filed 2 counts of stolen vehicle, and also was found that money was missing out of his mother's account. So in 14 days and 25 transactions later, he had stole almost $7,000 out of his mom's account from his dad's estate. So anyway, he's still in jail at this point. Administratively, Matt Braden is back, and he hit the ground running. He's already have an OVI and a couple drug arrests, and also a felony arrest so far. He's only been on like a few days. He's going through reacclimation right now with the officers. It's very important to him being reacclimated to the streets and the town and the way we do things. We have changed a lot even since the time I've been here. So he's been doing great. So you'll be seeing him out on his own soon. All the bulletproof vests are ordered, so it's just a matter of a few weeks before we get all those back. The part-time ad for the part-timers have hit the internet today, so that will run for 30 days, and I'm sure we'll be getting a lot of applications during this time. So I don't think there's any need to run it longer than that. We've already gotten applications, resumes, by internet. Internet's a white thing, they can send them from anywhere, but I prefer them to pick them up here themselves and get an application and turn them in here instead of there. I think that means a lot when somebody does that, so that's where we'll do that. In the drug take back campaign, we had 42 pounds of pills, and 42 pounds of pills is a lot of pills, especially when you're having these great big sacks. We took it there, and we found out since that in Cincinnati and surrounding counties, there were over 3,800 pounds of pills delivered. So they had, it was pretty successful. In this county, participants were Amelia, Bethel, Claremont County Sheriff's Office, Milford, Pierce, Union Township, and the Batavia Fire Department. They all participated in this county. Officer Merle participated in or assisted in the Officer Fill program, where over 800 school kids received that. That program was put on by a company that the school hires, and we kind of supply the officer to help them out. It's a fun time. It teaches respect and responsibility and big words like that kids through the Officer Fill program understand. So we did a great job there doing that. Officers, 4 of us attended the police memorial service in London. There were over 1,000 officers that attended that ceremony, and it was something to see. The very first time I've seen it, and all full-time officers got the opportunity to go there. We had a great time. They went in and participated on their own time, all the officers. But I think it's very important to honor those officers that paid the ultimate sacrifice. And this year we had the speakers of different ones that were killed in line of duty talk, and it was very moving. Officer Olson went down to Cincinnati here recently and participated in a Click It or Ticket campaign in Cincinnati. And there were 46 Ohio police departments that participated in that, and 27 Kentucky police departments. And so we have already started to write seatbelt violations. So that's a campaign that lasts a month. So everybody buckle up, or you might get a ticket. The In the Claremont County Chiefs meeting, I have that the Claremont County Chiefs and Sheriffs Association put on a police appreciation banquet. And there were a lot of officers that attended. I expect over 100 attended that. And that's to recognize officers that either were presenting with medals of honor, risking their life through some kind of event. During the course of the year, or officers, recognition of officers who, such as Investigator of the Year, Road Officer of the Year, that had an unbelievable amount of traffic stops and arrests and things like that. I think in one incident, the Ohio State Trooper had over 2,000 stops with over 100 OVIs, and it was just unbelievable that could happen. Lost my place. Oh, coming up is the Memorial Day Parade Monday, the 28th. It will start at the First Baptist Church. Staging begins at 7:30, and we're going to start the parade at 8 o'clock, and then we'll end up at 5 East Main Street in front of the elementary, and we'll have a service there at that point. We already have our officers lined up to help with that parade, get the traffic under control for that. Hopefully on the Monday morning there won't be too much traffic out there to deal with, so since there was no work, but hopefully. Public safety wise down here, I handed out different schedules for you. The statistic report through January, February, and March, April, it seems like it's pretty consistent there. We're up into 300 numbers and calls received, and it goes from there as to what we did on reports, traffic stop citations, the OVIs that we had, juvenile citations, and things like that. It's probably pretty self-explanatory on that. I want to pass these out. I did this before, but I think it's always interesting to see exactly where we are on total offenses by the day of the week, by the time. I'll go over these with you. This is dated from April 1st to April the 30th. So the first sheet is the day's offenses by the week, then the calls, time of day, calls by day of the week, and there's your numbers again. I think I introduced this before. I kind of wanted you to get you another one of these because I want you to know that we're consistent on kind of what we're doing here. Of course, the key to the chart is by the numbers, and that's our call numbers as well. I want you to look in the back, very back sheet, this graph right here, and that shows the revenue that we're taking in here, and it kind of shows at low point that where we were, and kind of how we're building up on revenue. I think last council meeting, I made a comment that March was a 10, and April was going to be at about 11,000, but I was wrong. It was actually 13,000. It wasn't that. So we're doing pretty good there. As a matter of fact, the numbers, the way they're going right now, the numbers we got so far at the end of May, we've surpassed all the numbers we've had all of last year. So we're up on our numbers as far as traffic, over 100%. And on criminal, and this is just May, and criminal, we're just right under 100% increase. So we're getting out there and we're getting the job done, and things are going really good. Any questions or comments or anything?
Just like to say, good job.
Thanks, Chief. Fire Chief. How are you, sir?
Good, how are you?
Doing good, thanks.
What's everybody doing?
Good.
Evening, not a lot to report. We got our monthly report. our numbers, we're down a little bit from last month, it's still quite busy. In the village, nothing of major significance. As Chief mentioned, we will also be at the parade here in Amelia. We'll be sending out a notice to Panama County Fire Chiefs Association tomorrow as well, to generate a few more interest from those folks. Besides that, everything else pretty status quo, staying busy. Comments, questions?
Did you run a squad run east of Amelia, on through Amelia this past month? The only thing I could figure you were going to Georgetown.
Holy smokes. Georgetown?
Yeah.
We haven't been.
Didn't run one to Georgetown?
We may have went through Amelia to go to Thermont Mercy. If
Oh.
one was in.
Yeah, that
we
might have
probably
been it.
went up and shot
Yeah.
that there, too.
I figured, the reason I say Georgetown, because when we first got our last squad, that was the only place we could
Oh,
go.
that was it?
Yeah. The horse wouldn't run all the way to Cincinnati. We would go to Georgetown.
Georgetown, yeah, it's been a long time to.
Yeah, it was. Okay, just curious.
All right, thank you very much.
Thanks.
Thank you, Chief.
Mr. Ricky Rowland, Public Works Department. How are you doing, Ricky?
I'm doing fine. Good evening. I'm going to go over this pretty quick because it's quite long. You can read all of it. There's a report on the front page of the Grove Park and the other two parks. The total cost and the repairs that was made to put the loose fill in. They're all up to par in that state. We still have a few little adjustments to make on some boards at Shank. But other than that, we're in pretty good shape, safety-wise at the parks. If you have any questions, Walden, we can do this. Posted no outlet signs. We had Chief and I discussed a sign at 15 Shady Creek about a month or so ago. We installed that promptly. We had a complaint from the resident that he didn't like the sign out toward the front of his house, even though it's offset from his house in the proper position. So the sign will stay at that point. So we're looking at other alternative ways of posting signs. I've talked to the mayor on different aspects of how to do that. We don't make the big yellow signs. But for now, we will, budgetary-wise and everything, I would propose to keep with what we got. And as we start replacing the street spades, we can start replacing those new outlets. But as we place onto the other areas, which we'll be doing here before long, we can do that instead of putting like a new outlet sign, put them on a street spade for the same cost. So we can do those in those areas that's not already posted. Purchasing a truck, I am looking into, was suggested to look into used ones again. I'm looking at that. It's going to be probably the same result, very few. Most of the trucks are worn out. That's why they're all for sale.
I think, just since you're on that, right, we were talking 15 to 20.
Right. I
have 12 to 15. And
Oh, okay. I got the wrong price. Okay. I'm not sure we'll find that. Last year we couldn't find anything under 30-something that was roadworthy enough to do the type of work we needed. But I will look into that and see what I can find as opposed to the new one. If we get to the point beyond time, we have to look at restraints on time. If it gets too late while we're still searching for a used truck, we will not have time to get a new truck. So we need to, I'll try working my schedule as it's very busy right now to get all this research. If anybody comes up with one, just let me know and we'll look into it. We put the new flowers and landscaping here at the municipal building and the cemeteries. So those are all ready for Memorial Day. Flags. All the flags have been installed on Main. Also, all veterans' graves have new flags placed on them. I would like to give a special thanks to the following organizations for their donations. American Legion Post 773 for all the large flags along Main Street. Walgreens for 100 small flags for the cemeteries. Claremont County Veteran Administration for donation of the other flags that we need, plus flag holders that they always donate if we need replacements. And the Yellow Ribbon Center for the yellow ribbons that they always give us every year. Road salt, we purchased just this week, or last week, the remaining of our obligation. I made arrangements with the county that they would store it for us at no cost, and as we need it, we pick it up. They've got the invoice and they know we got 50 ton. stored down there. Otherwise, we'd have to set it on the ground outside, and that would have been good. Recent fire inspection, we had an inspection, very little violations, just one here in the building. The majority was back in the shop area. We can fix most of that with some fire extinguishers and cabinets. But there was a few wiring issues that I'll have to take care of within the next 30 days. Sidewalk repairs, again, we're having the same issues that we don't have a policy in place yet to address that. I'm going to replace a couple sections of sidewalk, and that will come solely out of our department's budget, as we don't have a sidewalk policy yet. I once again asked if we can look into having council adopt some type of policy to avert the full cost being pushed onto the public works department. The mowing contract seems to be going well. He's doing a pretty good job from all I can see. He contacts me about almost daily when he's out. If there's a question, today he found a snapping trail that we had to eliminate for over at Grove Park. It was a walking trail there, caused a problem. So he's always calling and letting me know there's a problem. Trenching, culvert is, again, that's the same type of thing that we had a few years ago over on Sperling. However, this won't affect the driveway as that did over there because they're not collapsed. We will have to trench that. I know other townships has policies on that. We need to adopt a policy. I have a copy of one of the policies. Look into, maybe you can come with a comparable type policy. As it stands now, we have no policy regulating regulations or liabilities that would be caused by digging into their yards, and we need to address that. Catch basins on Main, we still have 2 catch basins to be repaired. We'll try to get to those by late June, 1st of July, as we need to have those done before school's back in. They're put off until school's out, so with time restraints, we want to try to get those in as quickly as possible. And that's my report. Any questions?
There's a neighbor up on Spring Drive, I think is going to put in a new drive culvert.
I believe I know which one.
Have you discussed that? Or do you know where it is? I can't remember the name of it, but Vance is his last name, in case you want to know. He's right across from Thompson Heating and Air Conditioning.
Oh,
I mean, the house is right across from him. And his concrete pipe on the south end is broke. And they dropped a bobcat off there tonight, like somebody's going to dig it up.
I know there's one resident already had that approved and worked with the county person that looks in that type of thing to extend his driveway by digging out, putting new concrete pipe in, and
That may be it.
and that's all been worked through and approved.
Yeah, because that concrete pipe is broken when I saw it in there.
That's probably the same one. I've got it on record back in the bank, but to pull the name off, I'm not sure right now.
That's all right.
What?
That's some sharp tail relation.
Oh, okay.
By Hooker Brook.
Okay. Any other questions?
Yes.
Your code of ordinances does have regulations providing for the repair of sidewalks, so we can follow up on that.
Okay, I got the policy for sidewalk note, and I will pull that
It's
one right next to
existed.
it.
It's section 93. There's a couple.
Okay,
In chapter 93, there's a couple sections that deal with that.
we'll look at that.
Does it say who's responsible for it? Is it the village?
You
or-
guys have to pass a resolution. It does say the abutting property owner, but you guys have to pass a resolution and do some other things, so.
Okay, so it's not really set up.
Yeah,
Right, we
yeah.
discussed that type of policy last year.
Yeah, I didn't know how far it had
And-
gone.
Yeah.
Well, this was adopted, this is, let's see.
Because I know we hadn't voted on anything or passed
No.
anything yet for it.
This comes right, basically out of the revised code, out of the Ohio revised
Okay,
code.
cool.
Okay, I'll talk to you about that, and possibly get a resolution done up for that. All right, anything else for Rick?
Thank you.
Thanks, Rick. Recreation Commission.
Finance?
We're gonna skip through finance. We don't have a finance report tonight, so.
We had our meeting on May 14th. Discussion, pretty much was, holding Skate Fest, and, we came up with a date for June 23rd at Grove Park. We also talked about, purchasing 2 memorial trees for, Torrin, is it Stevenard? Stevenard. Both to be placed at Shank Park. And the other main concern that the commission had was, and we brought that to the mayor's attention, about appropriations that have been made from the park and recreations. So that's pretty much all I got.
Do you have a time on the Skate Fest?
That's tentative.
Yeah, that is all tentative, but I think it was 10 a.m., I think. And then we'd start at 11 something, or no, I'm sorry, 9:30, and we'd start at 10. Registration would be, but I don't know where we stand on that. Our next meeting is June 11th, so I'll have more
Okay.
after that.
And I'll have some information on those trees too, so
Okay,
we're working on some donations for that.
okay.
As a follow-up to Ms. Gerber, I believe there was 4 permits for the parks issued in the last 2-3 weeks for $100. Park fund's up to $150 some now balance. I'm guessing that as the weather warms, there'll be a lot more permits coming through.
And that's for the shelter?
Yeah.
Safety Committee.
Nothing really to report other than Chief, myself, Mayor, and Chris got to go tour the comm center up in Batavia. And it is quite a thing they have going on there. I don't think we have anything to worry about. It was almost like walking into I don't know, things everywhere. It's unbelievable too. I don't know if the public is allowed to tour that or not, but it's really cool, and the way they have everything set up. I mean, it's rare to go. I did get a few phone numbers for people to call to get some ideas on preparedness of yourself if an incident's to come through, what you should have on hand, things you can do. I did put one call in this week. Haven't got a return call yet. I think they said they're on vacation. But it's pretty amazing what technology does nowadays. It's pretty cool. So, and that was all that happened that night. So I have nothing else to report.
It was a very good tour. And like Susan said, it kind of reminds you of a command center. When you go in, there's an oval desk probably with 20 seats, and each desk has their own laptop, their own telephone, their own communication to whom they need to communicate with. Everything's on a big screen in front of them or beside them, so I think they've acted that several times, they've said, and it works really, really well.
Yeah.
So I was pretty impressed also.
Yeah. Pretty neat.
All right, moving on to legislation. This ordinance is Amelia Village, Ohio Ordinance 0-2012-23, an ordinance by the Council of Amelia Village authorizing the vacation of a portion of Drake Drive. This time I open the floor for comments.
Did we get any reports back from
Yes,
mail and such?
you should have on your desk, everyone should have a copy of a letter that Pat sent back with signage that he suggests you could put there. But of course, at this time, nothing's been set in stone to do any of that, so in order to do that, I would think we would need to take that back to the developer and tell him this is what we'd like to see before we vacate that property.
I make a motion that we go ahead and table this until
We
we do
can-
a little more.
I
second it.
Work on it.
We can table this for one meeting, so we can do that.
Is that gonna be enough time for us to have a plan for it? I mean, I'm kind of of the mindset to just vote this down and tell them to come back with a plan.
Well, right now, we've got a motion and a second on the floor to go ahead and move this to the next meeting to table it. So do you want to vote on that first? We do have a motion, we do have a second, so roll call vote.
Ms. Gerber,
Yay.
Mr. Pollock,
Yay.
Mr. Campbell,
Yay.
Mr. Thacker,
Yay.
Ms. Elliott.
Yay.
Passes 5-0, one absence.
If you want to, Chuck, if you want to get with me next week, we can sit down and go over this stuff, and I'll get a hold of Pat, and we'll see what the best solution
I
would
mean,
be.
you
What's
could-
our solicitor's input so far? I know we kind of left it out there.
It's kind of left out there, under Robert's rules, it's table it, you have to bring it back next week. So either we need a resolution by next week, or you can, if you choose to vote it down, you can vote it down, and I could always draft another ordinance with specific requirements in it if you would want to give me that direction.
That would be our next regular schedule, council meeting, right? Okay.
We figured on putting that,
Understand
yeah.
that? Pat suggested a guardrail and a dead
That's
end
just what I was gonna
sign,
bring up, run a whole guardrail across it.
You know, this is just my personal feelings on it, is we're getting so many roads with these dead-end guardrails, these cars go down the road, they start turning into other people's driveways to turn around because there's not adequate places to turn around, then we start getting complaints from people.
Well, I realize
These
that,
cars
but
are
with
coming
a-
down here.
But with a sign at the beginning of the street, no outlet, you can still put that, just to keep people from going from there
Well, you have to
on
put
out.
some, you would have to put something there.
Yeah.
Yeah, obviously.
Because otherwise, you're gonna drive right on through. If you got a four-wheeler, you can go any place you wanna go.
Well, it's not planned to be a no outlet
It was
street.
not planned to be a no
Outlets.
outlet. They've just decided now not to develop any further, so therefore now it kind of changes
So
the
now there's
road
a no outlet
configuration
street.
of it.
Yeah, but that's
Make it
what
no
I'm,
outlet.
but I mean, and that's what my problem always been when I talk about a plan, that's what I mean, is
Oh, yeah.
what are we gonna do? I mean, we're taking the main road of the subdivision and closing it down. I mean, to me, that doesn't make any sense when I don't know what
Well,
the next step is. I mean,
yeah, but we
that's
really-
been my hang-up with this all along.
Well, yeah, but we're not closing it down. The developer closed it down.
We still have a plan for the next step. If we close it down, we vacate it, and we do that, we're basically shutting down the next step. Of course, he can come back in if he wants to and attach to it and continue it on out and follow the plan, but I don't know if we have that in stone or not, and that's kind of the answer I've been looking for, and I don't know if we got that.
No, I mean, in Mr. Mabel's report, it doesn't really touch on the subject
No.
of vacation. It just talks about the
Signs, yeah, that's all we got,
signs,
right.
Guardrail, so.
Well, that's, yeah, I'm not.
That was, and he pretty much told me that would be up to council, you know. To him either
Yeah,
way.
it's your decision.
It's your decision.
So we
not
could
his.
actually have them put a cul-de-sac back there
Well,
as part of the, we couldn't have them
but
put,
not unless they submitted for a new subdivision. It's either gonna stand as it is right now, or you can vacate it. Those are basically the two options.
What, don't they put in a four-way intersection or something, isn't that what we're actually vacating, is just a
Right,
four-way
they-
intersection?
Correct, that four-way intersection. So if you want that four-way intersection built, you can take their bond money to construct that.
And then we could, because that would give you more of a cul-de-sac than what they've got there now.
It'll give you more pavement area.
Do we know what their bond money is that we're holding?
I am not sure of the exact figure, but when I talked to Mr. Madel today, I thought it was a relatively low amount of money.
I think a lot of
Mr.
problems we had in the
Heilman-
past, and that's something that Pat and I are working on, is getting those bonds up, because we've got a lot of subdivisions where the bonds don't adequately cover.
I don't believe that it was very large. I'd say it was probably under 10,000 and maybe even 5. I'm not sure exactly, but I think it was a smaller number.
And I'll do some more research. And like I said, I guess, Bob, getting your question about a no outlet and a dead end, it does become a no outlet, but it becomes a dead end. And no outlets normally have cul-de-sacs. So there's a difference between a no outlet and a dead end.
Yeah, the guy.
No outlet is a finished road that basically has a cul-de-sac, and it's a no outlet when you turn on it. A dead end road is one that just all of a sudden stops.
Most drivers don't know that.
So,
They drive till they can't drive any further. Say, oops.
but I will get on with Pat and come up with the best scenario that we can feel we can come up with for that, and bring it back to council and see what you guys think. So we will table that. That's all we need to do for that. Moving on, Amelia Village, Ohio, ordinance 0-2012-25, and ordinance enacting section 131.34 of the codified ordinances of Amelia Village, Ohio, establishing littering regulations, and that will be the first reading.
Do we have an amount with the, or is this just,
Of the fine?
yeah, unless I'm, what,
It's a reference to a misdemeanor of the third degree. Chief, do you know about what that is? We can check on that for
Okay.
you.
okay.
Anyone else have any other questions?
And our last piece of legislation, Amelia Village, Ohio, ordinance number 0-2012-26, an ordinance providing for the issuance of bond anticipation notes in the principal amount of $550,000 by Amelia Village, Ohio, in anticipation of the issuance of bonds for the purpose of constructing road improvements in the village and declaring an emergency. This time, I'd like to open the floor. Julie, if there's any questions you would like to ask about this, Julie will be able to help you out. Basically, we're issuing these anticipation bonds to do the road widening from the Lori Lane past the tall trees to create the turning lane for the tall trees intersection. We will do this a one-year bond. It will turn over in 1 year. By the second year, we hope to have the TIF money in place from the Kruger project, which will pay off of these bonds. And even on a low end of what they estimate that to bring in, hopefully these would be paid off within 5 to 6 years.
Did we get an interest rate yet for this or not, or?
We don't have, in section 1 of the ordinance, it says approximately 5%. That's something that's required by statute to put in there. Talking with bond counsel, they don't anticipate that it will be that high because bond rates are 1 to 2% lower than that, but they just needed to put an estimate in the ordinance, and they'd rather be a little high than a little low. So I would anticipate, and you've had discussions with the bank, that it would probably be in the 4% range, but it could be higher, could be lower.
Now, is this interest only payments for the first year or no payments?
Did you have that printout from Fifth Third?
I don't have it with me.
I believe that there were interest payments the first year, and I can try to pull up that email.
It seemed to me it was like 25,000, but I would
I
have to-
believe that there were payments the first year.
Usually for a bond anticipation note, it's one interest payment can be rolled over into the following year, but most banks like to have the interest paid up, and on a 20-year issue at 5%, that would be, I think I calculated around 28,000 a year would be the payments. So what Julia said, around 25 is right in the ballpark for a one-year note.
Yeah, they did say there was some flexibility in how you made the payments.
other questions for Julia? If not, at this time I entertain a motion to suspend the rules requiring 3 readings on 3 separate dates.
So move.
I have a first,
Second.
and I have a second. Roll call vote, Kevin.
Ms. Gerber,
Yay.
Mr. Pollock,
Hey,
Mr. Campbell,
Yay.
Mr. Thacker,
Yeah.
Ms. Elliott.
Yay.
Passes 5-0, 1 absent.
This time I entertain a motion to adopt.
So moved.
Second.
I have a first, I have a second. Roll call vote.
Sorry, I'm trying to write it down.
That's all right.
take it down.
Ms. Gerber,
Yay.
Mr. Pollock,
Yay.
Mr. Campbell,
Yay.
Mr. Thacker,
Yeah.
Ms. Elliott.
Yay.
Passes 5-0, 1 absent.
And at this time, I need a motion for the adoption of the emergency clause.
So moved.
Second.
First, I have a second. Kevin, roll call vote, please.
Ms. Gerber,
Yay.
Mr. Pollock,
Yay.
Mr. Campbell,
Yay.
Mr. Thacker,
Yeah.
Ms. Elliott.
Yay.
Passes 5-0, 1 absent.
Do you want to do an update on the status of the project? Are they sufficiently informed?
You can go ahead and do a status update for us.
We are currently in the last stages of acquiring all the necessary property. We will be having a special meeting probably sometime the first week of June to approve a resolution with the Claremont County Transportation Improvement District, who is going to manage the construction and inspection of the projects for us at no cost. We will be paying the land acquisition costs and the actual construction costs themselves, but they will handle the actual construction management for the village, which is a good deal for us. It saves us some costs that we would have had to pay outside engineers. So they anticipate that they will put the project out to bid in mid-July, and that we can go ahead and start construction at the beginning of August. So that's kind of the time frame that we're looking at in the upcoming months. And we are hoping to close on a couple of the properties that have clean titles at the end of the week.
So if council wants, the June 4th, 5th, or 6th, we're going to need a meeting, and the reason for that meeting is we're going to be doing a contract up to give to the TID board for their meeting. So council will have to approve that contract to move forward with them before their meeting, so they'll have that so they can vote on that also.
Sooner the better.
Those are the dates, 4th, 5th, or 6th, whatever fits.
Wednesdays are bad for me.
4th or 5th is good for me.
The 4th is bad for me.
I don't
How about you,
care.
Renee, the 5th good for you?
Looks like the 5th.
I think the 5th. See, that all worked out. Bob, what day is good for you?
First,
We'll do that on the 5th. It's 7 o'clock. So that'll be a special meeting for, to do the contract for the TID. All right. Public input. Do we have any public input tonight?
Since 7.
7 p.m. No public input. Council input.
okay, got a few things to say. I dressed rather conservatively tonight. We're going to talk about cemetery lots. Didn't want to be flash about it, you know.
Let's not talk too in depth about it. Go ahead.
Especially
Everybody-
around me.
One thing for sure, everybody's got to go.
Kind of dead subject. Go ahead.
Yeah, everybody's trying to get in there. Anyway, everybody's got a copy. These are the prices in our general surrounding area of the I's and of those for one lot. Now, what we charge is up to us. But this gives you an idea. We run from $500 to $1,500 for non-residents. And then from residents, it runs from $500 or from $300 to $500, $550. So we don't know at this time how many lots we do really have available in the cemetery, but we're going to find out. And the idea is before we get into business, then we should establish by an ordinance, I would assume an ordinance, that we will charge X number of dollars for residents and X number of dollars for non-residents. So it's up to the group to decide what you want to do. In my opinion, I think we should go for a non-resident, I think we should go at least $1,000. And for a resident, 600 sounds good.
I think we're at 600, 1,200 right now.
We are, I didn't know we were.
We are.
When's that established?
I've got the ordinance on my desk, I'm not sure, but that's what we're at right now.
Would you,
Yes.
I have copies of that packet that has your ordinance on it.
Okay.
If you like, I can do those.
You guys need one of those?
What's that?
Ricky's got copies. Why don't I make a suggestion, Bob? Why don't we go ahead, since we wanted to do a cemetery committee,
Yeah.
if council wishes to go ahead and make appointments and do a cemetery committee?
Yeah.
I do the appointments. I know you'd like to be on it. Would anybody else on council like to be on a cemetery committee? I know Mr. Ricky Rowland wanted to be on the committee also. So why don't we do that?
I can do it,
Will you do it? Okay, great.
as long as we, it's not does it have to be like a monthly?
Oh, no,
We can do
it's
it
just
on
that.
base,
Yeah.
it's an
I think
on-call
that would work.
situation.
I
Or
can
would
do
be
that.
an on-call situation, yeah.
I can do that.
okay. So let's do that, and Renee Gerber and Bob Pollitt, Ricky, and myself will be on that committee. And let's do some thorough investigations on this and bring it back to council with some
While
definite.
we're at it, let's kick this around. Yeah, we've already had the front half radared, or whatever you would call it, and I suggest X-ray, there you go. And I suggest we take it from there to the back fence, so we know at one time what all we have, without working up here and then 6 months later we do the other part. I suggest we should do it post haste.
How's council feel about that?
I'd like to make that into a motion.
What do you think, Mr. Thacker, on that?
How much is it gonna cost, actually?
Was it 8,900, Ricky? Wasn't that what it was?
For the section that we looked at previously, the last bid was, it was 8560 for just those sections that we pinpointed last year, which is, if you like, I can pass these down.
But is that for just the front, or for the front and the back, or?
We've got the back, or the front, we've got
Several areas.
out front for that roadway project, that's all been done. And
Oh, it's
actually
already done and
That came in
taken
at a
care of.
really good price. They came in about $500 lower than what they quoted us for
On the
that.
back page, we would
Okay.
see the areas that.
Now they're talking about the
proposed.
remainder of the cemetery.
Okay, so now we wanna do the rest of it. So it's not a case of adding on, we're gonna come out and scan the front.
The front's already been scanned.
That's what I thought, but I wasn't sure.
Okay.
I'd like to make a motion to that effect, that we continue the X-ray process.
And Ricky, did you figure out, I know we had talked about, right now, how many actual lots do we know that we can use for?
I probably have that written down. We've got the ones that's already been approved are on, there's 8 lots open, and then the other ones are, we had subdivided some of the lots that we previously approved for burial to be for cremations. So you have 8 plots for regular burial and another 16 or so for the cremations, the way it stands now. That's in, next to the last page in this paper. And those are the only ones that we approved to be opened and ready to go. The rest are all waiting to be X-rayed. Because the last 3 burials we have are cremations.
That's 150.
Yeah.
And actually, Derek and I were at a meeting that they had actually brought up, I guess it's about 70% now people are becoming cremated.
Yeah, I think it's.
It's going higher and higher. It's cheaper, and a lot of cemeteries are now looking at doing what they call a cremation wall, where it's a wall that makes an arch, and you put these urns in the wall. So you can get a whole lot of people put into the wall that way, as far
Right,
as
'cause otherwise-
space.
We're making 4x4 areas for just one cremation and stuff. So we do so in case they want a stone or a marker, so you have 4x4, but opposed to a wall, you have the small, but you'll have the black, so it would save space.
Okay.
I would think that it still needs to go through some committee first, just, the way it is now, you only have less than $10,000 in possible sites. If you're gonna spend $9,000 to x-ray, it's like, but if we had more information, like maybe there are some more possible sites towards the back or whatever first.
How's that sound?
Yeah, but we have to, we almost have to x-ray them to make sure they are.
Well, if we had a general idea, if we thought, hey, there'd be 20, 30 after x-ray possibly, but that's just my opinion.
Well, it's not like we've got a tight budget.
There's a little bit of money in that.
Yeah, there's a little bit of money there.
I'm not sure how much we've got accessibility to that we could use.
There's currently about 50,000 dedicated to the cemetery fund and checking account, and the remaining money is in the Star, Ohio, I believe. And getting the money from Star, Ohio takes 3 days max.
Why don't we wait till we have our first meeting,
We can do that.
and that way we can maybe take a walk out there
Okay.
and look around.
So you want to withdraw that motion?
I'll withdraw the motion.
All right, thank you, Bob.
Well, while we're on that cemetery, what about the other cemetery? We always talk about the one, but what about the other one?
Todd and I just talked
Yeah,
about
we
that.
talked about that one also. That's something we're going to actually look at too. Again, for the availability of the space, maybe do a cremation wall at that one also, because it seems to be, according to the funeral homes, that seems to be the going thing now, so. And it would save a lot of space.
Oh, yeah.
But we're not actually sure at all. I don't even know who's got the plans. Ricky, do you have the layout for the other cemetery?
Not the other one, there's no plan, layout existing I'm aware of, however, it's pretty much full, if you need to walk it. And there's a lot of graves that have homemade stones that's been placed in it and broke off. You'll see little pieces of concrete markers, and it's throughout that whole cemetery. That would be a very hard one to even plot.
There should be a record in the church somewhere.
But I've got, what records we've got passed down to us has no plotting for that whatsoever. I do have the plotting for the Oddfellow.
Well, that'll be a good thing, if you could, Bob, see if you can contact somebody at the church and see if they might have some records also.
There should be somewhere, because they had a registered cemetery committee and somebody, of course, they're all dead.
Now, what about the possibility of any land acquisition?
Not there.
No room, nobody?
The schools,
The school
Got it
would be
wrapped
the
up.
only one. You'd have to contact.
oh,
the
yeah,
school.
from school, yeah. But they got, the fence in the school, there's one and there's a school.
Nothing in the
That's
back?
currently.
It's pretty tight.
Is it?
It's really tight,
I
yeah.
guess I should walk over there
It,
and see.
it didn't used to be.
You got it,
but-
she's got it drawn up there if anybody would like to see a picture of it.
All right.
I think she said she was gonna get all council on it.
I'll make a motion.
Other communities in the county have.
We won't say Bethel.
What?
They have these,
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
What is it?
A little bit of room, but not
like
much.
a tab.
I mean,
You
only
can pull
kind
up.
of-
Oh, it's one of those things. Oh,
And we do
If you
have
walk through the
Wi-Fi here,
cemetery,
so we are
it's
Wi-Fi.
not-
would be,
Got a lot of old.
whatever that means.
Well, this is
You still have to know the secret code.
Secret handshake.
not the one
I call them wall out, that's what it's
I
done.
was thinking about on that one.
Yeah, I'm That's
It's
pretty
the
close.
cemetery.
Yeah.
It's not over here. That's the one over Church.
Yeah. It's a Methodist. There's another
Right.
cemetery, we've got three cemeteries.
Over here is the one we were talking about.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
That was the picture of the.
Yeah, this is the odd.
Oddfellows, yes, that you're looking at there, Chuck.
Yeah. Now he's got me, I'm lost. I'm lost, I'm confused. I thought we were talking about putting the cremation wall into the Methodist one too.
No, we were just talking about it's so tightly spaced, if they could
Yeah,
do
it wasn't
anything,
gonna
it
fit.
might be something like that. I don't know if there'd be a lot of room to do open burial graves,
There wouldn't be anyone.
so, you know, something like that. That's something for the committee to look at, that's what's nice.
Yeah, I know they're even talking about pet graves too, so that'd be something for the committee to look into.
All righty. Write that down.
All right, any other council input?
Yeah. You want to know what to do with the mailboxes? Now I know what to do with the mailboxes.
What are we gonna do with
The
mailbox?
contractor does with the mailboxes. Ordinarily, the contractor does. Because,
To enlighten everybody, Bob and I have been talking about 125, there's mailboxes on 125. So we do this road widening project, we're trying to get some formality down there with mailboxes, so everybody doesn't have big ones, little ones, sideways ones, upside down ones, because they get hit constantly on 125. So Bob had looked at possibly talking at the post office to do a walking route through there, to eliminate those mailboxes, but
no,
they're not going to do that with cutbacks. So
no.
now we have thought about the possibility of getting all the same mailbox, where the mailbox has a back and a front where you take your mail out from the back, so you don't have to get close to 125. So it's just something we are looking at.
Well, the thing of it is, we're going to take that grass strip out. See, that complicates matters, because you can't dig a hole in concrete. So these mailbox posts have to be put in as the concrete's poured, according to the specifications. Mailboxes can go on top anytime you get around to them, but the posts have to be put in as it goes along. And I got the specs right here of which you have to abide by, or the contractor does, but what the postmaster said is most generally done by the contractor doing the work. In other words, the individual doesn't have to do anything except buy the mailbox, of course. But that's the gist of it, that the contractor has to put the mailbox post in while it's under construction.
And that's one thing we're kicking around. It's not definite in stone right now, is as we widen the north side, take that grass strip out on the south side and just pour that with concrete, 6-foot sidewalks on both sides. It'll clean that up, because it's a huge safety factor for Ricky to be hanging out on that highway with those mowers, trying to cut that grass. So we want to try to eliminate that. And again, that's just being looked at. That's not etched in stone as of right now.
What about if you did like left a spot for a mailbox for each house and like bricked it or something? You see what I'm saying? Like left a hole, like a square hole in the concrete, and just put bricks or whatever around the post, or something that could be dug up.
Well, I think he was talking about having a post there.
Yeah,
during
he's
construction.
got what the post office, and if anybody gets a chance, they kind of want to see what they did. If you go out on bypass 28 in Milford, they just redid old 28, and they're redoing it similar with the mailboxes that are already put in as the concrete gets poured down through there.
What happens? I'm thinking of what happens when they get hit.
Well, they're 6-foot wide sidewalks, so they're already longer sidewalks, so it's getting you back further off of the road. But they all have to be a certain distance from that curb. That's just the way the post
The
office
front of the box,
calls them out.
the front of the box has to be 6 to 8 inches from vertical edge of the street curb. Now, depending on how big a mailbox you would have, that's how far back the post would go. If we had it standard, like Todd said, the mayor said, that the boxes would be consistent, the same type with the front and back, all the same
So they
height, all
don't
the
have
same
to
color.
spin them around. If you notice, some of them, they spin them around and everything else to take their mail out. They make one Rubbermaid generic mailbox now where the back opens in the front. So the mailman opens the front, throws the mail in, Person just walks up to the back,
So is it
opens
hard
the back,
enough
and
to go
pulls the
right
mail
out the
out.
back?
He never has to swivel, turn it, or anything. So, and I think, we talking 10 mailboxes or something?
No, I guess, what he said, it was 5
It's not that many.
currently, and they're gonna be, probably gonna be less than that several years from now.
Another nice thing, just to bring you up to speed, those telephone poles will be moved behind the sidewalks. So we have those poles off of 125. So when they do the pole relocates, which they plan on doing the end of June, they'll be moving those to the back side of the sidewalk. Eliminate all them mirrors from hitting those poles also.
Make the truckers happy.
So as we get further down in that, we'll bring that.
Yeah, that's a ways.
And, anything else? Council have anything else? All right, our next meeting will be Tuesday. Actually, we have a special meeting will be on the 5th at 7 p.m. And our regular scheduled council meeting will be Tuesday, June 12th at 7 p.m. Also, don't forget Memorial Day Parade starts at 8 a.m. You say that was at the First Baptist Church?
It was the First Baptist Church address.
Okay, and then there'll be a memorial down here by the school where they have their memorial. Little red pillar.
Forgot something. Here's the schedule for car shows. And I took it upon myself to highlight all the ones within shotgun distance of where we are. And I circled some that it's only a one-time deal for them, for that particular thing. So a lot of these are repeats. They have like every Monday, every Friday, every Thursday. But there's a few in there that are single one-time shots, you know. So I highlight them, and I won't say I didn't miss one or two. But anyway, this is the whole, well, April and May is a little late. So we're starting with June all the way through the year, till the end of the year. So whoever is in charge of that, there you are, buddy. That's a well-put thing.
All right. Anything else from anybody? All right. If not, I entertain a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Sorry.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?